I am KuanFen. I'm the artistic director and conductor of the Channel Islands Chamber Orchestra. Nice to meet you. Both the California Channel Islands and the Santa Monica Mountains are remarkable treasures embodying a wealth of natural and cultural resources. The commissions and the recording of these two pieces of music intend to bring attention to the natural, cultural, historical, and archaeological phenomena that are the Channel Islands, and the Santa Monica Mountains. I think these two pieces are excellent choices for the orchestra around the world to program and perform because they're so yummy, original, accessible, and they really carry a strong message. And when you perform that, you are helping and contributing to the effort of restoration and preservation of these two landscapes and to save the world. We recorded these two pieces of music July 2022.
At the Newman stage on the Fox lot in Culver City. Great studio, one of the greatest in the world, beautiful sound, with Damon Tedesco, one of the great engineers of all time. His dad was Tommy Tedesco, a member of the Wrecking Crew. Great conductor, KuanFen. She got everybody into the studio, set up. We went along. It took the whole day to record the piece. And we got a great recording. So I'm really looking forward to it coming out, and so should you.
The studio itself was wonderful. It was really big, and as my first time in the studio with an orchestra, it was a very different animal than what I was used to. We just kind of went in cobbling together some click tracks to kind of have the musicians listen on their headphones. That seemed to bring kind of everybody into this middle ground and kept the tempos up. I felt like that really brought the vision that I had sort of more into focus. I'm very happy with the results.
It was so much fun to record. It's like going to the adult Disneyland for musicians. We had a great time. The staff and recording engineers at the recording studio, they were so welcoming, encouraging, and super professional. It was during a challenging time. We were still in the thick of pandemic. We all are required to wear masks during the 2 days of recording sessions. However, I couldn't forget that I could see smiles through those masks with all these musicians. So really that was very wonderful, wonderful experience. Celebrated mandolinist and composer Ashley Hoyer has this incredible abilities to capture the distinct characteristics and beauty of each island.
Hi, I'm Ashley Hoyer. I am a composer and multi-instrumentalist, and I wrote the Channel Islands Orchestral Suite. Back in 2017, I met my now husband, who is a biologist on the Channel Islands. I learned about, through his friends and colleagues and his own work, how much was happening on the islands with natural resources and all the different conservation things that they were doing. And it just blew my mind that there was all this going on that I didn't know about, and also the fact that I'd never been to the islands. So it sort of became a little mission of mine to do something in my own skill set where I could write music for the Channel Islands, a movement for each island, and sort of showcase what I found beautiful and inspirational about each island, and, you know, show it to the world and locals and have people learn about the islands and what is happening out there, and that we should help protect them so that they are here for future generations. Part of this project was, it was my first sort of foray into writing for orchestra. I'd always felt like I wanted to write. I'd always written music, maybe for my own instruments and, you know, small chamber groups and such, but never for a full orchestra, and it's sort of my own self-imposed project. So I proposed this idea to KuanFen. She loved it, and we started getting to work. I started visiting each island and deciding, oh, this instrumentation would work best for this island. For example, Santa Barbara Island is woodwinds and percussion, and that's it. I don't use the strings or the brass. But for the bigger islands, say Catalina and Santa Cruz, I use the entire orchestra. It was really a really fun project to sort of just bring in one family at a time and sort of see how they work together. I think this project is a good example of what can happen if whatever one's discipline, you know, music, biologist, we do what we can to take care of our home and so that it can be here for future generations.
Jazz pianist and composer Bevan Manson.
Hi, I'm Bevan Manson, the composer of Santa Monica Mountains. I'm a composer, jazz pianist. Thank you very much. And I composed Santa Monica Mountains on a commission from the Channel Islands Chamber Orchestra with KuanFen, Conductor, and the great Evan Taucher, fabulous classical guitar soloist from Texas, Evan Taucher. And composed it out of a concern for the natural beauty and spiritual aspects and everyday aspects of the Santa Monica Mountains, one of the most beautiful places not only in California but in the world. There are 4 movements to this piece, and they're all connected by a melodic idea which changes, it's transformed in many different ways. In writing this piece, one of the requirements was to write something compatible for the orchestra, and also something that would give the soloist enough room to do some different things.
There's a lot of concertos where the guitar is just clearly the solo instrument, it's all about the guitar, and the orchestra is more of an accompaniment. Whereas in the concerto that Bevan has written, the guitar weaves in and joins the orchestra, and I think it's much more wholesome that way.
In the first movement, the main theme is disguised at first, at the very beginning of the piece, by a lot of orchestral hinting, kind of representation of the fog coming into the coast along the Santa Monica Mountain area, very slowly. So it's all very mysterious for a while. And eventually, especially as you walk up higher, you walk through the clouds, literally, and finally you can see the ocean, and it comes into glorious view. This little theme came into my head at one point, thinking about guitar, but also thinking about the orchestra.
Bevan was able to capture the agitated rush hour on PCH-1.
Especially representing a traffic jam on the 1, for example, there might be a different version of it. There's another theme that comes in that kind of accompanies it a little bit, almost like another person getting together with this person. Lost love or some distant vista that he sees that he wishes he could go to. We don't really know. But bells are ringing in the distance, and this little theme goes like this. The last movement is very fast, and it really is about a race.
Writing music to raise awareness about climate change and habitats that are changing really fast, plants and animals that are going extinct. We need to work on conservation. We need to make the ecosystems healthy, and we need to conserve what we have. This is our home, and it's a home to everything.
Conserving nature is important to me because we only have one Earth, and we all share this planet. We also need to think about how we're going to live this Earth a livable place for our children after we're gone. Music has the ultimate power to remind, encourage, and inspire people with conservation and restoration of these beautiful resources that we have at our doorsteps. People can drastically and permanently change the natural world in a matter of years. Plastic pollution, deforestation, overfishing, increased urbanization, creation of greenhouse gases, and unsustainable agriculture practices are the most detrimental drivers behind humans' deliberate destruction of the earth.
Back in 2017, I believe, there was a big oil spill on the Gaviota coast, and I was there, and it was hurting, it was hurting a lot of people. I was feeling sick that day. You could smell the problem. A lot of animals suffered. And at that point, it just grew on me even more that a pristine area such as the Santa Monica Mountains, which is adjacent to the Gaviota coast, get some protection. Of course, it does have some, but there's always the danger from elements that we can't control. It's such a beautiful area, and if you're a fisherman, a hunter, a tourist, you have a lot of incentive to keep it that way. every time I visit, it just seems more beautiful than ever. And I hope you find it that way too. We really have to put our foot down and do something about it before it's too late. And my belief is that art can really communicate a little bit of that, not in a commanding kind of authoritarian way, but just as a reminder, a pictorial reminder about what's so great about the natural world. So thanks for listening.
I'd love to thank KuanFen for believing in this project and taking it on. It was a very big project, and I believe it really turned into something that beyond my imagination. I'd love to thank Bevan. I'd love working beside you on this project and your beautiful piece. And of course, the wonderful players of the Channel Islands Chamber Orchestra for your beautiful playing.
Thank you for watching.